I ain't gonna even lie to y'all, bro. I think Epstein is alive, bro. He's alive. And people are like, oh, y'all talking about it. Y'all keep talking about
The
it.
Epstein files
Bro,
is still raging on.
they said in the file that Biden's a clone. But they spell Biden like Bidin on one sentence.
Everybody's still talking about it. And one of the craziest rumors that's been going around is that the idea that Epstein might actually still be alive and that he might have been swept out of the jail before his death.
That trip van
that might have actually been faked. Now, this sounds ridiculous. It sounds very far-fetched. But when you actually start looking at some of the stuff that's been going around about this, some of the information, some of the posts, the theory starts to become a little bit more believable. So in this video, I'm going to break down some of these theories. I'm going to show you some of the evidence, some of the speculation about Epstein's alleged death fakery, and it might surprise you. It might just surprise you. So a lot of it went around, okay, based on this anonymous 4chan post. And I know what you're thinking. Okay, anonymous 4chan post. What does that mean? Well, it is actually very interesting. Okay, and this is a conspiracy theory that has been going around for quite some time. And basically, immediately following his reported death, okay, this post started going around, and it contained details that were dismissed at the time, but later on started to look a little bit more accurate based on later information that came out. This person said, not saying anything after this, please do not try and dox me, but last night after 4:15 a.m. count, they took him medical in a wheelchair, front cuffed, but not one triage nurse says they spoke to him. Next thing we know, a trip van shows up. We do not do releases on the weekends unless a judge orders it. Next thing we know, he's put in a
This is somebody that works there. He's anonymous. He wasn't trying to get no clout. Somebody was like, yeah, it could be a peak. Somebody's trying to troll. Who's trolling like that? Yeah, the day after I'm gonna post that I work there and I had a trip van. Like, who's making that up? Nobody's making that up. It's on a private 4chan post, even though he knew it. No. It's the same guy that was like, Kobe's gonna die in a helicopter crash. Like, who trolls like that? You know what I'm saying? This is all predictive programming.
Man cell and hangs himself. Here's the thing. The trip van did not sign
Jeffrey
in.
Epstein,
we did not record the plate number. And a guy in a green dress military outfit was in the back of the van, according to our tower guy who let him through the gate. You guys, I'm shaking right now, but I think they switched him out. Wow. Sounds like some baloney. Sounds like a hard one to believe. But as time went on, okay, now we get to 2026, the end of January, and that's when these leaked documents have now provided the first concrete evidence that that information shared years ago might have actually been accurate. Okay, this is a post in r/Epstein.
Anything that got to do with these elites doing swaps and resets and lying, I'm not skeptical about that. Now, when it comes to them telling the truth, I'm skeptical about that. Jeez.
Is booming right now. This says Epstein files alert, this is huge. And that's the post that we saw. Okay, now let me read you the post. It says the individual,
if y'all want to cop a crystal, man, you can hit me in the email. Tell me they 40 a crystal. I'm gonna be back at the house in a minute so I can ship them off. But I make all these handmade, wrap them in the copper, put the milky quartz in there. I grab it from the stones from the mountains and the ancient trees in Arizona.
Anonymously posted on 4chan on the morning of Epstein's death, August the 10th, 2019, claiming he witnessed weird happenings at the prison before Epstein's death, has been identified in the Epstein files. Roberto Gravala was an officer at the Metropolitan Correctional Center. Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York. He's been identified as the anonymous prison employee who posted on 4chan claiming Epstein left his cell Friday evening, shackled in a wheelchair, while at the time an unauthorized trip van arrived at the prison, which he believes took Epstein away the night before the news broke of his death. Now, how crazy is that? It says in the FBI files, it confirms that that was a post really made by somebody who worked at the Metropolitan Correctional Center, and he's been identified. FBI now, the day after Epstein's death, U.S. Attorney Jeffrey Berman of the Southern District of New York opened a grand jury proceeding and subpoenaed 4chan, Apple, AT&T.
As long as the FBI confirms it, it's not baloney. It's not baloney, mate.
And Citibank for records aiming to uncover his identity following the anonymous 4chan post. His name is not redacted on his bank records that were included in the Southern District of New York subpoena response from Citibank for his 4chan post, and ties to the same prison officer, Roberto Gravala, whose statements were released as part of the prison's investigation into Epstein's death. This is huge. We now have validation that the 4chan post from August the 10th, 2019 is a legitimate eyewitness account from an MCC prison officer that Epstein might have been switched out before news broke of his alleged suicide. So let's see the evidence. That was the post. And this is basically the FBI report, they got his IP address. They said that he posted in poll. They basically reproduced the actual comment there. This is in the FBI report. This is them basically getting not only his name, but also his signature that connects to his bank accounts. This is a memorandum.
Guys, I'm shaking, guys. FBI pulls up. It gets worse. I'm shaking, guys. I hope I'm okay. Everything gets worse. You're on the fucking Epstein files.
From the government, it proved that he was working there. Okay. And basically, on Friday, approximately at 1:50 p.m., Gravala passed on to oncoming staff member Officer Davis was present with shift staff Shakir and Joyner. That inmate Reyes was going WAB and may not return. Also, the inmate Epstein might be needing a cellmate on arrival from his attorney visit. So it was true. It really, like, that was a real person who was working at the jail. How crazy is that? Now, people in the comments, they're saying, I feel bad for this guy. He's got to be scared for his life. They're saying, me too. He's absolutely cooked. What a whistleblower, though. The subpoena proves that the government was broadly complicit in this entire operation. It says, as of 2023, he was still employed, but going to trial for hurting an inmate.
Oh, that's weird.
And they're saying the trial could have been fabricated to silence him. It says all prison guards routinely harm inmates. Maybe that's normal. Now, this is the complaint against him. Basically says that he took someone out of the cell on a pretense of removing a soiled mattress. While they were handcuffed, he grabbed him around his arm, slammed him to the ground, and damaged his right knee and testicles.
Damn.
So that doesn't sound that crazy to me. But people saying, please don't dox me, immediately doxed.
Right.
Immediately doxed. They're saying this is crazy.
That's what
Commenting
I said.
mostly so this gets pushed, but because I feel like this is probably the best evidence we're going to get. I hope someone has downloaded these files. Okay. People saying, all right, this is hijacking your comment. The 4chan post pictured here was likely not made by Gravala. See 4chan post from that morning here. The third 4chan post, the one about the swap, came from a different IP address than the other three and locates to Chicago. Here's the unredacted file. The subpoena for the phone records, bank records, etc. is where the name Roberto Gravala appears. Only includes the IP address belonging to the first and second and fourth posts. So see page 20. The third photo in the post comes from this file as well in response to the subpoena page 83. So it appears that Gravala might be responsible for the post about Epstein dying and the medical information, but it doesn't appear he was responsible for the first post about the swap, and I can't find any more info.
Even when you watch that news article, when they was announcing his and all that, you go watch my last video and see it. I'm pretty sure I got the news article on it. It looks so like fake. Like the news just be like, hey, and this is that, and we're reporting on the scene of what happened to Epstein, and he just died, and it's, I'm like, man, shit.
About that. In the IP files,
probably hella
possibly a 4chan troll who saw Gravala's post and ran with it. They were later deleted, it seems, since it's listed under deleted records. People are saying it's not necessary to turn on a VPN for your IP to be located as Chicago. Yeah. They're saying 4 posts as the original IP, then a post from a different IP 14 minutes later, halfway across the country, then the original IP 3 minutes after, so it makes no sense for that to be the same person. Very, very interesting. So what are they saying on here? So that was that post. That was the original post that we saw. It says first post above claiming Epstein was dead at 8:16 Eastern time wouldn't be reported until 8:56 a.m. So they seem to know about 40 minutes before the mainstream news knew. This says worked in the A-Stol arrest for 40 minutes. AL's intubated in the field. Epi 2 liters NS infused. Telemetry advised bicarbon D50 in field. Transported to Lower Manhattan emergency room. Worked for 20 minutes. Called hospital administrator. Was alerted. Preparing statements. It says every post above the post to the left was made before Epstein's death was reported in the mainstream news. So all of these posts was called out as a cardiac arrest in the Manhattan detention facility. So they're saying that everything here, basically, they knew.
Yo, this got to be a part of the feds, bro. The dude said, don't ask me how I know, but Epstein died an hour ago from hanging cardiac. Bro, who is in these chats? Is 4chan some type of, like, ex-military, ex-secret service? Like, it seemed like it's a chat just for a bunch of ex-secret service spies and shit. Like, that's why I'll be like, even on them Reddit groups and all, bro, do you know an FBI agent could literally just join my Discord and just act like they're not an FBI agent in the moment? Like, they'll be there from themselves. It's easy now. It's so easy to infiltrate shit and just be in shit. And you thinking like, oh yeah, this is just me and the guys and we're being edgy. Like on Facebook, they got a bunch of these like groups. Well, they do it for monetization purposes for sure, and just for laughs and shits and giggles. But they got like shit shades posting and schizophrenic posting and all this stuff. And I just be like, yo, who running these groups? Because you know the memes is what's kind of helped blew up the consciousness. People want to talk about like, oh, this person this person that. But on a serious note, like the memes is what blew up conscious shit. Like memes. Memes is what help people wake the fuck up. Like they got hella woke memes. Like you remember that meme when LeBron was doing all the hand signs and they put the Freemason and all that shit. Some people like, oh, this shit's brain rot, it's brain rot. But it's like that's how we kind of feel about this shit, you know? Like I told y'all I knew it was endgame when a nigga was on the court and he was saying, LeBron, why you sacrifice Kobe? That nigga LeBron looked back like, what the fuck? I don't know if he looked back, but I think it was it was some type of reaction, bro. He was like, whoa.
40 minutes before the mainstream media reported it. So this is the IP info, and it says that there were 2 different IPs that were associated with, I guess, this person. I mean, it could be the same person from a different IP, but it basically says the first 2 posts were from the 107 IP, then the third post was from the 172 IP, and then the fourth post was from that original IP. So this is post number ending with 57, and that's the third post that is to the separate IP. And I guess they couldn't prove where that one came from. So maybe it was, this is getting very, very confusing and scary. Okay. So this is basically the FBI report. I think it said page 20, right? So this is basically a subpoena for the information related to the IP addresses that were collected, and it says they want all from AT&T. They want all subscriber identifying information,
we need that.
Name, address. The fact that they can get this, any scammers, finesses, dodgy internet people out there, like you be doing crazy stuff on the internet, they can subpoena. They get your name, they get your social security number,
everything.
your MAC. They'll find out what browser you was using.
Bro, they got everything that you deleted, everything that you got on a burner phone. Like, bro, this ain't 2005. Like, if the feds come take all your technology, bro, they get shit that's on it. Let's say you bought the technology from somebody else. They get shit that was on there before. You feel me? So, like, I got a secondhand laptop. They'll pull some shit and be like, oh, was this you? No, nigga, that shit wasn't me. Shit was from 2006. Nigga had the dark web, occult Bitcoin on my shit. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, they'll backtrack and get everything tied to you. And they got photos from, bro, like, they got surveillance on us, bro. The Raven cams and the Flock cams and all that shit. It ain't just like they watching crime and stuff. They're surveillance you every day. So, I know we under surveillance. You feel me? I'm not gonna sit here and say I don't be still taking shit and all that shit on GTA and the stores and all that, but like what do these big companies care? Y'all care if I grab me some little shit? Like, come on, bro. Y'all a big ass corporation. I'm not at the mom and pop shop. Like, come on, bro. Like, y'all niggas out here eating babies and shit. Like, y'all got bigger shit to worry about. Don't worry about me getting off with this. You feel me? Y'all don't need these products. But that's just my little rebellion on GTA. You feel me? But in real life, they watching you everywhere. Everywhere. And it's not like, oh, I'm scared, because they're being watched too. So they can't just act on no ill judgment. That's why you have to govern yourself. But we in a surveillance state though, bro. So just know, like, that's why I do content, because I realize we already being watched. So everybody that be like watching me, you thinking I'm like putting myself out there, I'm making videos and be careful and nigga, they watching you too. You just don't have content. They watching everybody. Now, do they watch people a little harder that try to break out? Yeah, but nigga, do you not, bro? One time I met a guy out here in Arizona. He had a smoke shop. No, actually, he was in Gilbert, and he was like, "Yeah, the feds was watching me." He had the fed. This dude didn't have no. He had an Instagram, but he wasn't that like popular, and he was just a regular like Mexican dude. You know what I'm saying? But he was like a Mexican, professional Mexican. You feel me? So I think he was a white guy. I don't know, but anyway though, you go to his IG, he was like hemp god or something. So basically, he was selling hemp out his store, out his smoke shop. He was selling hemp, and they raided his house and took all his hemp. Like the feds was watching him, because they took all his peas. Like he had like 100 peas of hemp, and his smoke shop was doing good. But it's not like he was just like cartelling. He was just like selling hemp out his smoke shop, and the feds came and flooded his shit. Like, what? Hemp? not the feds, but the police in the county. It was the county police, but still, they didn't ran a state RICO on him. Like, they sitting outside his house and following him to his shop and his garage. Them police be bored, bro. They be bored, for real.
Was you on Chrome or was you on Microsoft Explorer? Bill Gates definitely doing some Microsoft exploring with Jeffrey Epstein. But anyway, was page 83. So apparently, so this basically says account details. So this is what they basically gave up in response. Okay,
shit too dry, bro. I gotta get another one.
The affidavit from Citibank, and then they got his bank account records. But it doesn't seem like they had somebody else. We enclose a CD containing bank records. Please email me for the password. So they hand over everything. If this is anything, this is definitely proof that, look, if you do dodgy shit on the internet, they're going to subpoena your information. The FBI, all these rappers, they think they can line up murders in DMs, bro. They're going to get every check you've ever deposited. They're going to get your whole shit. Everything, your name, your address. We got your whole bank. We got this whole statements. What's he spending his money on? Let's have a look. Right? This is getting a bit silly now. And this appears to be a joint account with his missus as well.
This should get
checking and savings silly. $3,000 at Citibank. Should have been taking some kickbacks from Jeffrey Epstein, really. But it is absolutely crazy. Now, interestingly enough, okay, a lot of people have been running with this body replacement theory, and the YouTuber Coop actually touched on this theory in more detail. But basically, I'm going to be careful with what I show you here, but there's basically a pretty crazy video.
That being said, we can...
Ooh. Okay. Wait, I want to make sure, because I just seen Jeffrey Epstein's body. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm glad I took it off screen. Okay, but I think we're good now.
Disprove this being Epstein's body well before the autopsy photos than any direct on shot of his face could. And it's this skeezy little angle we get of Epstein's ear, or very clearly not Epstein's ear, because they don't even remotely match one another. So unless Epstein got new ears while in prison, this is not his body, which leaves us to wonder whose it is then. I've seen and read many theories, including a body double for who this could be, which is possible considering Epstein's countless millions of dollars he poured into his foray into human cloning, which, no joke, check out the Zorro Ranch video if you haven't seen that. My personal theory, though, is that this body looks a ton like the brother of Hillary Clinton named Tony Rodham, who died just a handful of weeks prior to Epstein. And here's a photo of what he looks like. And no, I'm not lying to you. The man on screen is not Jeffrey Epstein. That's actually Hillary's brother, and you are not mistaken.
Why do they look so similar?
Bruh. Don't tell me they used Hillary Clinton. Don't.
No, bro. Why does he look like
you telling me they used Hillary?
Fat suit. He looks like Epstein if he played in Big Mama. You know how Brandon T. Jackson had to wear the fat suit, bro. They told us about they told us about this shit back then. Martin, well, not Martin, but nigga, I was about to say they cloned Tyrone. I'm fried. Top of the AM. It's 5:30 AM right now. Actually, it's 6, and I have to go. Yeah, I gotta start going to my flight, bro. But hey, I appreciate y'all tapping in with this video, man. I ain't gonna lie, this that's Fat Man right there. When I get back home, we gonna react to this.